Warning, this is a movie discussion as well as a movie review. There are lots and lots of spoilers. It comes at night. Bitch, when? Which night would that be? Because it certainly wasn't any of the nights in this movie. But more importantly, who the fuck opened the fucking door? You know what? I don't have time for this fake deep bullshit. Who's rating this movie all high and shit? I usually enjoy analyzing these psychological thrillers, but what the fuck? And not only do I still not know what comes at night, but I don't even fucking care anymore because I just want to know who opened the fucking door. It wasn't the kid. He didn't have the keys and he's too little. And how did the dog even get in? And what the fuck happened to the dog anyway? Dude, come on. The only thing that comes at night is Travis with his lantern, okay? Or his nightmares. And my conclusion is that's the only thing the writer, Trey Edward Schultz, could have been referring to as far as what comes at night, if he was just trying to be fake deep. And you know what? That would have been fine if the title and overall marketing weren't intentionally misleading. I want to say up front, this was fucking garbage. So, It Comes at Night is about a family who lives off the grid. They're hiding from a plague of some sort that's wiping out the population. And I just want to run down some observations. Number one, the movie was really dark, and I mean that literally and figuratively. Sarah, the wife, is played by Carmen Ejogo, and she was in the dark so much at first, I didn't even know who that was playing her. But the whole movie, and this isn't a bad thing, the whole movie just used a lot of dark tones, and it gave it a really creepy effect, which it was able to maintain throughout the film. And that is actually the one thing. This isn't a bad thing. Like I said, it's actually the one thing the film did right. The cinematography was pretty good. The creep factor and the tension were undeniable. Number two, Will, played by Christopher Abbott. This dude was very suspect. And this was also intentionally misleading. I realize these people are seriously on edge. And, I feel like one of two things could be happening here. One, under these circumstances, some normal behavior may come off as suspicious, like stuttering, not recalling something accurately. It happens, but under these circumstances, you might be like, well, that's peculiar. And the other thing is the overall stress of it all may actually cause a person to behave suspiciously when it's really just because they're anxious and nervous. But in this movie, honestly, by the end, I felt like his suspiciousness was just a ploy to throw you off about Will and his family. Basically, it was a trick. You're just waiting to find out what's up with them and if Will is a lying ass bastard, which was heavily implied. And you're waiting for something. And it built up for the entire film. And when it's time to deliver, it doesn't. And then what ultimately pushed everyone over the edge should have never happened in the first place because who opened the fucking door? If you want to show me how fear and paranoia drove these people to be each other's worst nightmare, fine. But show it to me without completely manufacturing behaviors and situations. I would have been much more impressed if the tension had just built up naturally, but the audience was led in a particular direction. And don't get me wrong, twists and turns and the unexpected, that's fine. But it has to make sense. And this just felt like it was forced. Yeah, you didn't get what you expected, but it was at the expense of a logical plot. Number three, Will's wife, Kim, and this really strange sexual tension scene with the young man, Travis. I thought this was about to be Get Out, the Apocalypse edition. What the fuck was that? I'm not going to talk about it. It was another one of those things that reared its head and never showed back up, so I'm going to just let that go. But not without mentioning how unnecessary it was and didn't bring anything to the film. You could have deleted that scene and not missed a beat. Number four, Travis's dreams. Okay, Travis is played by an amazing actor, young guy named Kelvin Harrison Jr. And the dream sequences were literally the only thing even the least bit frightening. But they also got kind of annoying. Too many long, drawn-out shots of Travis's face just being scared and terrified. And I get that this film is supposed to be carried by the acting, as most psychological thrillers are. And the acting was great. They did a great job of making you feel their overall sense of helplessness and fear. But like I said, I just wanted to see the fucking plot move forward. if you're gonna have these long ass dreams in there, then you gotta move the plot along too. Um, Number 5, the disease, the plague, whatever it is. How was this even contracted? What are they wearing gas masks? I would have never took that shit off. How did Sarah's dad contract this shit? His old ass probably didn't even leave the house. It appears to be really contagious, but they only wear the mask when they're in the vicinity of someone who they know has it. But the grandfather got it? How? If he wasn't around anyone else that had it, then this shit is airborne as fuck. And the kid, if he had it, it's no way he had it all along. It was stated that symptoms show up in a day or so, and he's a kid, so his probably would show up even quicker. And I'd at least wear one of those surgical masks 24/7. I don't understand the precaution or the lack thereof. It just didn't seem very consistent. My ass would have been in a bubble, a homemade bubble. Um, Number 6, what happened to the fucking dog? And how did he get back in? It's bad enough we don't even know who opened the door. That fucked up ass dog sure as hell didn't. How did he get there? I can't accept this. It's just illogical. And number 7, so all of a sudden the kid sleepwalks and possibly, maybe, probably has the disease. And like I said though, from who? Or did he have it? Or I don't know. Number 8. So the shit finally hit the fan. Nobody trusts each other over this open door thing. Rightfully so. And Paul, played by Joel Edgerton, is just like, fuck it. We all need a break from each other. You know, but at this point, everybody, it's kind of lost it. Mostly it was Will, though. I get it, the paranoia, the distrust, and the tension. These people are just trying to survive. But Will is crazy and overreacting. Just leave, dude. And I'd be damned if I take my mask off in my house because you feeling some type of way about your probably maybe sick ass child. Number 9, Paul did the right thing. Get y'all fucking asses, get y'all shit, get y'all goats and chickens and shit, and get the fuck out. I'd have been like, wait, leave one of them chickens though. But as he's leading them out at gunpoint, which I don't blame him for at all, Will manages to get the gun and beat the shit out of Paul. First of all, how did you even allow that to happen? Second, Sarah, what the fuck are you doing? I was sitting there like, if you don't shoot this, I wish I would stand there and watch somebody pistol whip my husband. When she came out the dark and pulled up on Will in the hallway, I thought she was going to be on some ride or die shit. But when the shit hit the fan, she froze. And truthfully, Paul shouldn't have been able to get up. He was getting his ass beat in the head with the butt of a gun. No, that went on way for too long for him to even be able to get up like he did, and was like a star shooter as soon as he got up from that ass whooping. Speaking of which, number 10, Paul kills every goddamn body. Okay, confession. I have a soft spot. I mean, most of us probably do, for children. And hearing Kim crying, "You killed my baby," that's the fucking nightmare here, okay? That finally ignited an emotion for the first time during this movie. And I was sad. That was a very unpleasant moment of sadness. Then Kim's like, "Kill me too." And Paul's trigger happy ass was like, okay. I must say that I'm glad this movie went there. It was the only thing that was actually, made sense. I mean, at that point, the overall theme for this movie is that these people were driven to this behavior by various elements and factors, caused by a situation that was out of their control. And also what that situation did to them mentally. The fear and isolation, desperation, distrust, anxiety, paranoia, stress. I will reiterate, though, that the way this tension built up, I still feel it was forced. Unless Trey Schultz wants to offer up some explanations, if people are losing trust in each other and a specific event is largely to blame, how can you be so vague and unclear about that event? From the audience perspective, we don't even know what happened. As far as that door goes, that matters. I'm not trying to fill in the blanks with my imagination. That shit wasn't logical. Number 11. Travis may or may not have gotten sick. Who cares anymore? The shit just went off. And when you're sitting in a movie theater and you're thinking, this better not go off. This better not. Oh my. What the fuck? That ain't cool. The least thing you could have did after taking us through all that bullshit was offer up a proper and complete ending. So wrapping this up, as a psychological thriller, I believe, they were going for a couple of themes. And the first one is that what is unseen can be just as, if not more terrifying than what's obvious and in your face. I believe this was executed okay, via great acting. The movie was pretty unsettling when you think about it. And the second theme is that, in desperate times like these, man, your neighbor, can become a bigger threat to you than whatever the initial threat was. And not just because of fear and paranoia, but because of practical things like water and other resources. We've all seen The Walking Dead, that this is what happens, when people get desperate. But like I said, the tension to me was contrived by the writer. In the end, it was all just a bunch of empty bullshit, and that's how you felt at the end of this movie. Empty. You just watched a lot of build up and received absolutely no payoff. And there were plenty of opportunities, which makes this even more infuriating. There are so many directions that this movie went in and just came to a hard stop. Like the writer was just like, oh, okay, that's enough of that. With no conclusion, no explanation, just abandoned. So, these setups and situations were deliberately created to draw you in with no intent to provide closure. Psychological horror can still be good horror. However, the most horrific thing about this movie was the $5 I spent on the ticket and the time I'll never get back. Like I said, I had two likes, which have been discussed already: the cinematography and the acting. There's absolutely nothing else to like. And my dislikes are pretty obvious. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone, unless they were super bored and it came on TV, on a channel you were already watching, and they can't find the remote and they don't want to get up. Okay, fine, watch it. Otherwise, I'll give it a 2 out of 10 for what it did right. Excellent acting. Thanks for listening. Follow me on Twitter at MovieBuffChick1, and please like and subscribe.